Okay, so they say the sum of the first n term by a sequence. It doesn't say what sequence yet. They didn't mention us any geometric arithmetic but they didn't say yet. They just say this sequence means this pattern of the numbers. They come up a formula say their sum is in this formula Sn. Sn maksudnya sum. Hasil tambah semua dah. Okay, so dapat 2 tambah 3 tolak 4 kan. So they have to ask you to find what's the value of C. What's the value of C such that the n term is equals to C3 negative 4n. So means we have to find n term. This concept we are testing us. We have to find n term by using Sn. So we have to find n term means Tn by using Sn. So how will be the concept here? Okay, so we continue here. So how to find Tn using Sn? We can look at our formula. When you want to find Tn equals to, no matter it's arithmetic or geometry, they are using the same concept. When you want to find certain term, actually it is equals to Sn minus 1. What's mean by that? So this concept like you have terms, right? Okay, so you have terms, right? You have first term, you have second term, you have third term, and then many term after that. I also don't know the n terms. Okay, so before n terms, it will be n minus 1. After n term, it will be n plus 1. So when we say sum means total up to n. So total up to n, you can see if I total up to n, I have this group of the value. This is my Sn. But I want Tn only. I want this only. I want this n term only. I want this value only. How can I get this n term? Means I total up to Sn, and then I minus. I cut off this. Cut off this. So when I want to cut off everything here, it will equals to Sn minus 1. Sum up to n minus 1. So that's why our formula will be, our concept will equals doing like that. Tn equals to Sn minus the sum before that. So when you minus the sum before that term, you will leaving this Tn alone. Ia akan dapat term ni seorang-seorang saja. Nilai dia seorang-seorang saja. So when you have this concept, we can apply it in this questions 24a. So in order to find Tn, means I need to do sum up to the n terms minus before it n minus 1. So how is sum to the n term? Because it doesn't tell us this is arithmetic or geometry, but they already give us formula, so we use the formula given here, 2 plus 3 for n. So minus, how about Sn minus 1? So Sn minus 1 means the n here will be substituted by n minus 1. So the n here will be substituted by n minus 1. So my sum to the n minus 1 will be equals to 2 plus 3 minus 4 n minus 1. Alright, so we have to simplify it in order to get our n terms here. Okay, so what can we do? We expand the negative, become minus 2. This one become minus 3, negative 4n plus 4. Then 2 minus 2, we can notice that we can simplify here. 2 minus 2, simplify. So now we are doing the operation of 4n, 3 to the power of negative 4n, indices concept. So for indices concept here, we maintain 3 to the power negative 4n. So this power, we're going to separate it. This will be 3 to the power of negative 4n times 3 to the power of 4. So totally here will be have 81 of it. 81 of this 3 to the power of 4n. Okay, so you can see 1 indices minus by 81 indices. So if this one is m, let's say this is m. Because operation indices minus, we cannot do anything. If you let it m, this is m minus 81 m, means it will give you negative 80 m. Alright, so it said the n term, we compare back to the question, the n term here, they say Tn is equal to C 3 to the power of negative 4n. And what we get here, Tn is equal to negative 83 to the 4 power of negative 4n. So from here we can say that, we can conclude that, okay, so the C constant here, the C constant here is negative 80. So this is how we find out the C constant. Okay, so we can go in to see what's the important concept here. The first important concept is this, how you find your Tn using Sn by using Sn minus Ss minus 1. Okay, then here will be the concept how you simplify your indices and getting the answer. So getting an answer here, to compare out what's your C negative 80. Okay, negatif 80 ni macam ini. So, indices kan biasa kita tak biasa nampak indices. Bila saya dah let m, then you boleh nampak. I let m equals to indices ni. So, dia akan jadi, bahagian sini akan jadi n tolak 81 m. So, dia akan dapatlah negatif 80 m, betul tak? So, saya masuk balik. Okay, now we go for question B. How to show that this sequence is geometry? Means they want us to show the characteristic of geometry. So if geometry means they have a common ratio, where second term Tn over first term Tn minus 1. They will get a constant there. So for this part, you'll start testing. Is it this one? Is it common, having common ratio? Is it this one is geometry sequence? So our Tn we get already. Tn is refer back our value here. Tn is negative 80. 3 minus 4n. So when you have n minus 1 means negative 80. 3, the place of n will be substituted by n minus 1. Okay. Okay, because the n here is substituted by n minus 1, so this n will be substituted by n minus 1. So we're going to see this term divided by this, is it getting constant? If they're getting constant, means this is geometry series. Okay, now we're going to plug in our value, where Tn is negative 80, indices 3 power negative 4n. Divide another in Tn minus 1. Okay, so from here we can see it clearly, where we can simplify. Oh, negative 80 divided by negative 80, they're gone. So leaving our indices in division. Okay, so when we leaving our indices in division, that is good, because indices in division, we can operate the power. It will be minus, so minus negative negative become positive lah. When indices in division, power will be minus. So minus negative here, so it become positive. So we simplify here, is it getting constant here? So plus 4n minus 4. So the power here, negative 4n plus 4n. Okay, they cancel each other. So leaving 3 to the power of negative 4. 3 to the power of negative 4, which is 81. So this means this ratio, this common ratio is a constant. Constant means it's a numbers, has a number, it's not an unknown, it's not unknown x, y like that, n or what. Okay, this common ratio is a constant. So where r is equals to 1 over 81. Obviously, it's numbers, right? So we can prove that. They said show, right? So we can prove that this show that it is a geometric series. So this is how we prove the things. Then we see the important concept that tests us for here 4 marks, right? So the first mark is how you going to understand geometry series is by using common ratio Tn over Tn minus 1. This is the concept they want to see. And then another important concept that involved here is how we simplify our indices. This is our topic chapter 1, basic chapter 1. And we get final answer 1 over 81. And then lastly, we come out a conclusion because this is a show question, so we have to uh, explain out what we have this show. We cannot just leave it 1 over 81, then people not understand 1 over 81, what's the relation 1 over 81 and geometry series. So we have to come up like explanation or justify your answer. Let people understand that your working showing is come to this stage because this is a constant. It is a common ratio that we find in geometry series. Okay, continue. C. When you want to find sum to infinity. Sum to infinity formula a over 1 minus r. So I must have first term a. So our first term a, how can we find our first term a using t? So A equals to T1. So T1, refer our Tn here. When n is 1, so it gives us 3 to the 4 power negative 4. Because when n is 1, here we times 1, we get negative 4. Okay, so I get my first term. It will be negative 80 over 81. This one you can press your calculator because all in numbers. And then our R, we found it already as before this question B. As we show it, this is geometry where it has common ratio R 1 over 81. So we come to the formula. We want to find sum to infinity. We plug in our value. Negative 81, negative 80 over 81 divide 1 over 81. Okay, so this one will give us negative 1. So therefore, we can see 2 marks only. So 2 marks only. This is how you apply your sum to infinity and answer. How we see. Actually, so geometry and algeometry is we going to see how you apply the formula, how you plug in the value. Is it you plug in the value correctly? Then yes, then that will be your concept. Salah. Yeah, I get a mistake here. I terlupa nak tulis 1 minus. Macam ni baru betul.